Hello everyone, this is Justina from Ceramic. In today's video, I would like to show you how you can interact with the index network, more specifically, how you can create new indexes and use them to create composable search products. First, I would like to give you a very quick intro to what index network is. Index network is a composable discovery protocol which is built on Ceramic that enables developers to build composable search products. Anyone can create indexes for specific information on index network. For example, you can create an index for a specific documentation site, a blog, and others. This information then can be composed with other information sources, enabling users to query multiple indexes with a single query. This provides a much better, deeper, and more personalized search experiences for the users. Index network also provides an environment for automating knowledge tasks using AI agents. For example, you can have an agent which subscribes to contexts and keeps the users up to date with the latest updates for a specific related topic, and so much more. So there is a lot of really interesting and good stuff happening, and I would like to show you how you can get started and create your own indexes. So the first thing that I will do is I am going to connect my wallet. This will make sure that the indexes that I am creating are actually associated with my decentralized identifier, meaning that I am the owner of the indexes that I'm creating and that I am the person that can make changes to them and so on. So we will give this application access, and right away I am logged in into the index network UI. You can see that I am authorized using my decentralized identifier, which is specified here. And using this very simple and intuitive UI, I can run all of the interactions with the index network. I can create new indexes, I can test them, and so on. I will mention though that technically there are two different ways of how you can create indexes on index network. One is through this simple UI, and another one is using the developer SDKs. For the sake of this video, I am going to create indexes using the UI, but in the follow-up videos, we will dive deeper into developer SDKs and other things that you can do with the index network. The first thing that I wanted to show you is that in all indexes tab, I already have one index available to me, and that's an index created for index documentation. I have this index available to me because I starred this index when it was shared with me, and that's why it's available in all indexes tab as well as in the starred indexes section. A really nice thing about this is that now that I have this index available, I can actually interact with it right away. So if I click on this index, at the bottom, I have an option to ask to index docs, meaning that I can post questions and the answers that will be given to me will be pulled from the index that was created for index documentation. I even have some suggestions for what kind of questions I can ask based on this knowledge graph. For example, how does the profile creation process work in index? So if I click on it, this question is populated in this message box. And then if I send the message, I get the response using the information that is currently available in the index documentation index. So now that you can see how I can use indexes that other people created and interact with them, I would like to show you how I am going to create a new index. Now you can see that the section of owned indexes is currently empty. So I would like to create a new index and walk you through the process of how this can be done using the UI. So since we are currently in the base on-chain summer, I thought that I will create an index for base documentation. So to do that, I have to follow a very simple process. I will click on New Index, and here I can specify the name of the index that I am creating. So since I am going to create a new index for base documentation, This is how I'm going to call this index. It will be base documentation. I will hit create. And after the network confirmation, I have this brand new, currently empty index. And the first thing that I have to do is I have to add new items to my index. So basically, I have to provide what kind of information I would like to be stored in this index. And I will show you what options do I have. So for example, I can index any URL. So for example, any kind of documentation site, blog, or anything else. I can also index other available indexes. And I can also index composable streams. If you remember, I mentioned that index network is built on Ceramic, more specifically composable, which means that the streams that are stored on composable can also be indexed on the index network. So any kind of products, videos, or any other type of graph node can be made available on index network as well. So since I would like to create an index for an existing site-based documentation, I will simply need a URL or a set of URLs that I will add to this index. So if we go to the base website, let's find the documentation. And all I need is either a specific URL that I would like to index or a set of URLs that I would like to add to my index, and to simply provide them in the index network UI. So I'll show you one example with just one simple URL. So I will just copy this URL to the documentation, which will index this landing page. And I will simply paste it here and add it to my index. So now I have this one page that was added to my base documentation index. Obviously, I would like to add more pages. To be frank, I would like to add all of the available pages from the base documentation so that they are available for any kind of applications that I would like to build with it. And here I have two options. One of them is I can go through all of the pages available on the documentation one by one, copy the URLs and add them to this list here. Another option that I have is I can pull the sitemap of the documentation. So basically get a list of all of the pages and just import all of them in one go. I did a little bit of prep, and actually I do have a list of all of the pages that are available here. As you can see, it's just a list of URLs, and each page is represented as an individual URL. And what I will do, I will simply copy all of them. And I will paste them all here. I will hit enter. And you can see that now I am working on 142 pages to be indexed. And this is it. Now we have a fairly long list of pages that were indexed. So all of the pages are now part of the base documentation index here. And once again, I can already test it out. So if I go to the chat section of my index, you will see that now I can ask to base documentation, which means that the questions that I will type here will be answered using the information that I indexed on this index. And also, just like with index network, I get the suggestions for what kind of questions I can ask. I will ask a very simple question here just to test it first, which is, what is base? And right away I get the answer, which is base is a secure, low-cost, builder-friendly L2. So this is really nice, and I can ask follow-up questions here and so on. But another thing that I wanted to show you is that now that I have two indexes available to me. One that I created, so base documentation index, which is in my own indexes list. And I have the one that I started, which is for the index documentation. I can actually already compose both of these indexes. And the easiest way to do that is by simply asking questions that would pull the information from both of these indexes. So if I go to All Indexes tab, you will see that now at the bottom it says ask to all your indexes, meaning that the question that I will pose here will be answered using the information that is available in all of my indexes. So right now it's from base documentation and index network documentation. So I will ask a very simple question. What is the difference between base and index network? And let's see what the answer we are going to get. So we posted the question and we are getting the answer. So as you can see, this response now contains the information about the base network, and this data was pulled from the base documentation index, and we also have a summary of the index network and how it works and the key features and so on, which was pulled from the index documentation. So this is so cool because just like that, by having these two indexes, we can create some composable search queries. The very last thing that I wanted to show you is how you can integrate these kind of indexes that you created into your own application. So for example, if you choose to create indexes using the index network UI, when you open the specific index you created and go to Developers tab, you will see that here you have an option to generate an API key and then use either Node.js or Python SDK to integrate your index into the application that you are building and allow the users of your application to interact with the index that you created. You can also either use or create new integrations with popular apps and really build interesting applications that take advantage of composable search. So this is all that I wanted to show you in this video. You can see how easily you can create new indexes on Index Network and how you can take the experience of search to the whole new level and provide the users with much better experience. I would really love to see what kind of applications you build using Index Network, and I will see you in the next videos where we are going to go a little bit deeper into using the Index Network SDKs and where we're going to build some really cool things.